Well, I was recently asked by a lady who was, she said, well, if you were confined in a hole, where did you go to the toilet? And I had to explain to her that there were places like a cradle sort of hung over the side of the ship, two planks, about 6 feet long, with a gap in between, and then joined at each end. And this is what you did if you wanted to go to, as so many people wanted to. You had to slide out under the rails and crouch down, a foot on each of these planks, make sure, and then, because somebody got washed overboard eventually, I mean, there was a freak wave, and because the Japanese were speeding along, and so that somebody thought of the idea of roping yourself on, sort of thing. And there was the first mate of the ship who could speak a little English, a Japanese first mate, who got talking to us and saw what condition we were in, and finally got us to the captain to agree to us living on the deck of the ship, as it were, but only at certain times. So quite often we had to go into the. Could I just explain the hold? It was a hold, and there was a platform of planks that they built, and half of us went underneath the planks, and the other half got on the top, sort of thing. So if anybody was sick or ill with diarrhea or anything, it all came through to the people down below, and you were crushed into this hold, and that's about the only sort of daylight you ever saw, the only air you could get in there. And then, as we got nearer to Japan, we were told to get up in the night. The Japanese would come round saying the Japanese word for danger, sea chow. And you all went up on deck, scrambled out of the hold, got up onto the deck, and roped ourselves together in fives. Some of the officers said, well, strong swimmers would support the weaker swimmers if you had to go over the side. Well, this first night we heard this clanging a bell and sea chow, and we're standing there, and all of a sudden there was the light, the heavens. So it was dark night, and obviously one of the ships had been hit with a torpedo by an American submarine. They were attacking our convoy. And this happened quite a few occasions, but fortunately my ship didn't get hit. But quite a few people went down on those ships on that trip to a place called Moji in Japan. That's where we landed, Moji. Oh, yes. I think I was about 8.5 stone by that time. I'd gone right down to about 7 stone at one time. I was weighed about 8.5 stone, but by the time I got home, I was over 10 stone. By the time I got back to England, but the Americans took care of us. They took us off the USS Rescue on one of their destroyers, which took us to Tokyo Bay, where all the British and American fleets were, and the Japanese signed their capitulation there. And then we flew from Tokyo to Okinawa. Again, we were treated as plenty of food and that sort of thing. One of the things I remember was getting my jaws to work to chew, because most of the food we'd had been rice and barley to eat, and because you didn't use your jaws very much. So when it came to eating bread and things like that, chewing, it was your jaws got a bit, it was painful to chew, but we soon got used to that. Well, I had a very painful experience early on. I saw somebody who had been caught writing a diary, and they literally beat him to death. I mean, we actually witnessed his beating by the Japanese, because no diaries, and they were kicking and beating him, but he died a few days later. And so I said, that's it, I'm not going to keep a diary or anything. So all I've got is just memories and things. But I did write cards and letters that were sent to my sister. I didn't have any parents at the time, and she's kept them, and my wife has still got them. She's got them over there. if you wanted to see any. But they came after the war was finished. When I was home, they actually came in. But I've got the letters I sent, or the cards and things. But I never heard anything at all from my sister or my brothers. They'd written to me, but never. I didn't get anything at all. I didn't find out anything until I got the first letter from my sister when I was in Manila, waiting to repatriation to England. Time.
Looking back, how do you feel now about the Japanese?
Well, I don't really feel anything at all very much. There was a time when I could actually distinguish between Japanese and Chinese. When I worked in London after I'd left the army, I could be walking along the street towards a hotel and I could see a group of Japanese and I crossed the road. It was psychological. I just had to cry. I couldn't walk near to them. If they were Chinese, I didn't mind at all. Now might be difficult to understand. Can you tell the difference between the Japanese and the Chinese? That was the way it was. But over the years, I've mellowed, and people say you should forgive and forget. Every time I put my hand to the back of my head, I can feel the ridge that the Japanese had hit me with a log. And this ridge is still there. Fortunately, I get a pension for it. Eventually, it took me a long time to convince the war pensions people that the headaches I suffer and still suffer, and I've been suffering for years and years, could be due to this blow to the back of the head. And I take medication now, daily and nightly.